Number 30 videos in Here's What I've Learned About UK Personal Finance. 30 videos. That's how many I've made on this channel now. And honestly, some of the biggest lessons I've learned about money in the UK didn't come from textbooks or financial advisors, they came from you lot. From your comments, your questions, your stories. So today, I'm going to share the most important things I've learned after 30 videos of diving deep into UK personal finance. And number 5 on this list genuinely changed how I manage my own money. Right. Let's get into it. Lesson number 1. Most people aren't bad with money, they're just operating on outdated information. This one hit me hard. When I started this channel, I assumed the main problem was discipline. You know, people spending too much on takeaways, not budgeting properly, that sort of thing. And look, budgeting matters. Of course it does. But the more videos I made, the more I realized that the real issue for most people isn't a lack of willpower. It's a lack of up-to-date, UK-specific information. Think about it. How many of us were actually taught about ISAs at school? Who sat us down and explained the difference between a lifetime ISA and a stocks and shares ISA? Who told us about salary sacrifice, or how pension tax relief actually works, or that you can get free money from the government just by putting cash into a LISA before you're 40? Nobody. Nobody told us. And the stuff our parents taught us, bless them, a lot of it is just out of date. Put your money in a savings account. Great advice in 1995 when you could get 7% interest. Less great in 2021 when you were getting 0.1%. Even now, with rates being better than they were, most people are still leaving money in accounts that pay well below what's available. So that's lesson 1. You're probably not bad with money. You just haven't been given the right information. And that's literally why this channel exists. Lesson number 2. The UK tax system actually has some incredible benefits, if you know where to look. I know. Nobody wants to hear the words tax system and incredible in the same sentence. But hear me out. The more videos I've made about this stuff, the more I've come to appreciate just how generous some of the UK's tax wrappers are. And I don't use the word generous lightly when we're talking about HMRC. Your ISA allowance? £20,000 a year that you can invest or save completely tax-free. No capital gains tax. No tax on dividends. No tax on interest. 20 grand a year. That is enormous. Most people don't use anywhere near it, but even using a fraction of it consistently over time can make a massive difference. Then there's your pension. If you're a basic rate taxpayer and you put £80 into a SIPP, the government tops it up to £100. Just like that. Free money. If you're a higher rate taxpayer, you can claim even more back through self-assessment. And if your employer offers salary sacrifice, you save on national insurance too. It's genuinely one of the most powerful wealth-building tools available to ordinary people in this country, and so many of us either ignore it or just accept the bare minimum workplace contribution. I did a whole video on pension tax relief a few months back, and the comments were full of people saying, I had no idea this is how it worked. That tells you everything. Lesson number 3. Debt isn't always the enemy, but expensive debt absolutely is. Early on, I think I was a bit too black and white about debt. You know, all debt is bad, pay it off immediately, cut up your credit cards. And whilst I understand the sentiment, it's just not that simple in the real world. A mortgage? That's debt, and for most people it's the single best financial decision they'll ever make. Student loans in the UK? They work completely differently to how most people think. They're more like a graduate tax than a traditional loan, and paying them off early is often the worst thing you can do with your money. I made a whole video about that and it properly divided opinion in the comments. But the maths doesn't lie. What is dangerous is high-interest debt. Credit cards at 25%. Store cards. Payday loans. Buy now pay later that spirals. PCP car deals where you're paying a fortune in interest for a depreciating asset you don't even own. If I've learned one thing from 30 videos, it's this: before you do anything else, before you invest, before you think about ISAs, before you even think about overpaying your mortgage, clear your expensive debt first. The guaranteed return you get from not paying 25% interest beats any investment on the planet. Lesson number 4, the basics are boring, and that's exactly why they work. Here's something I've noticed. The videos that get the most clicks are the ones with exciting titles. This one trick could save you thousands, or the investment nobody's talking about. And look, I'm not above a catchy title. You clicked on this one, didn't you? But the stuff that actually moves the needle for most people? It's boring. Genuinely boring. It's setting up a direct debit to move money into a savings account the day you get paid. It's checking your tax code is correct, because HMRC gets it wrong more often than you'd think. It's making sure you're on the best energy tariff. It's reviewing your subscriptions once a quarter and cancelling the ones you forgot about. It's checking whether you're entitled to marriage allowance, which could save you up to £250 a year and takes about 10 minutes to set up. None of that is glamorous. None of it is going viral on social media. But added up, over years, these boring little actions are worth tens of thousands of pounds. Maybe hundreds of thousands when you factor in pensions and compound growth. I've tried to get better at being honest about this on the channel. The boring stuff is the strategy. Everything else is just optimization on top. Lesson number 5, and this is the big one: your emergency fund changes everything. I mentioned at the start that one lesson changed how I manage my own money, and this is it. I used to think an emergency fund was just a nice to have. A bit of a safety net. 3 months' expenses in an easy access account, that sort of thing. And technically, that's what it is. But what I didn't understand, until I actually built one, is how much it changes your psychology. When you've got 3 to 6 months of living costs sitting in a Marcus account or a Chase Saver or wherever you keep it, everything feels different. You negotiate harder at work because you know you won't starve if it goes badly. You don't panic when the car breaks down or the boiler packs in. You make better long-term decisions because you're not constantly firefighting short-term problems. I had a comment on one of my earlier videos from someone who said, and I'm paraphrasing, "I built a 6-month emergency fund last year and it's the first time in my adult life I felt like I'm in control of my money." That stuck with me. Because it's not really about the money in the account. It's about what that money does to your stress levels, your confidence, and your ability to think clearly about everything else. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this: build the emergency fund first. Before investing, before overpaying your mortgage, before doing anything clever. Get that foundation in place. Lesson number 6, nobody cares about your money as much as you do. Not your bank. Not your financial advisor, if you even have one. Not your employer's HR department. You. Banks will happily let you sit in an account paying 1% when they're offering 4% to new customers. Your workplace pension might be invested in a default fund that isn't right for your age or risk tolerance. Energy companies won't tell you there's a cheaper deal. HMRC isn't going to chase you down to give you a refund you're owed. You have to be your own advocate. You have to check these things. And I think that's the underlying message of every single video I've made on this channel. Take ownership. Ask questions. Look things up. It doesn't take hours, even 30 minutes a month spent reviewing your finances puts you ahead of 90% of the population. So, what have I learned after 30 videos? The UK actually has some brilliant tools for building wealth: ISAs, pensions, leases, salary sacrifice, but nobody teaches you how to use them properly. Expensive debt is the real killer. The boring basics matter more than any clever hack. An emergency fund is the foundation everything else sits on. And at the end of the day, the person who cares most about your financial future is you. 30 videos in, I'm more convinced than ever that this stuff isn't complicated. It's just not talked about enough. And that's what keeps me making these videos. Now, I want to hear from you. What's the single biggest money lesson you've learned, whether from this channel or from your own experience? Drop it in the comments because I read every single one, and honestly, some of the best ideas for future videos come directly from what you lot tell me. If you've made it this far and you're not subscribed yet, come on. You know you want to. Hit subscribe, tap the bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.